the most striking place to fly into is Chicago. I land at Chicago O'Hare Airport. I am with some regularity met by 10, 12, 15 uniformed police officers who come. They shake my hand. They give me patches. I've got in my office patches of the Chicago PD.
That's not true. I don't know for sure, but no one should believe what he just said. In fact, I do have one piece of evidence that would bolster the argument I'm making here. Ted Cruz claiming that people walk up to him, they've got tears in their eyes. They just want to thank him for his service, like, abandoning the people of Texas during a disastrous winter storm where people lost their power. He went to Cancun and then got a lot of blowback for that. It's like the real important service he does. But anyway, before we play more of that clip, I want to just give you a little bit of a flashback to last year when Ted Cruz said this.
Every week, I fly back and forth to Houston. Almost without exception, every time I'm on an airplane, either the captain or a flight attendant will come up to me, will hug me and say, thank you for fighting for us. Because I'll tell you, United Airlines, sadly, Houston's a hub of them, has fired thousands of pilots and flight attendants. What difference does it make? We're in the District of Columbia right now. There are mandates affecting kids in DC.
I mean, there's nothing suspicious about that at all, right? That last year he used a similar line about how people are coming to him to tell him what a wonderful person he is and how they're thankful for his service. Like, I don't even get why they make this stuff up.
I think it's hilarious. I love that they make it up. I had 10, 12, 15 cops, 25, 35, 85 cops come up to me on a regular basis. Really? Have you ever seen 12 to 15 cops at an airport at the same time walking down the hallway? You know what happens? People panic.
Yeah, they do.
Whoa, what the hell's going on? 12 to 15 cops aren't walking around the airport going, oh good, there's Ted Cruz, let's go give that guy a hug. Okay, and it's the pilots, it's the flight attendants, it's the cops, it's, and then, and then the guy working at the McDonald's, so he comes and gives me a hug and stuffs a burger in my mouth. What are you talking about? I'm gonna call Ted Cruz patches from now on. He's like, I got patches. I got lots of patches, okay? Look, so here's my guess on what happened with Ted Cruz. One, maybe two cops came up to him at some point in his life, and one or two of them gave him a patch that he's got in his Senate office. They do not come 10, 12, 15 at a time.
No,
every
Jake,
time he lands in Chicago. Come on, but that's the thing. Look, we're gonna give you a Trump clip too. Like Republicans, conservatives, you don't really believe these guys, do you? I mean, it's hilarious. That's ridiculous.
Look, Cenk, I'm actually a little mad at you right now. How dare you be overly generous to Senator Cruz? No cop has ever approached him to tell him thank you for your service. Never. It's never happened once. Not even one.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but I like how you're harsher than I am. But I don't know.
Because, by the way, the other thing is, I don't know if I would never publicly tell anyone anything even close. Like, even if it did happen, I'd be so embarrassed to say that. It's so embarrassing. Kind of a big deal. People come up to me all the time to tell me about how I'm so great and how I'm a big deal. Like, what the hell? Why do you think this is a good idea? But anyway, let's go back to the more recent time that he made this argument about people approaching him and telling him how great he is. He did that in the context of his podcast called The Verdict, and he was talking about crime in blue cities and specifically decided to pick on Brandon Johnson, who just got elected. He is mayor-elect of Chicago. So he's on his podcast, The Verdict, with Ben Ferguson. And Ferguson described, it's hilarious, Brandon Johnson as an actual communist, okay? And that's when Ted Cruz made this ridiculous claim.
I travel around, you've flown around the country with me quite a bit.
Yeah.
Inevitably, when I see police officers, I make a point of stopping, of shaking their hands, of saying thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. And I tell them, I say, look, a big part of my job is to have your back. And I talk to cops all over the country. I got to tell you, the most striking place to fly into is Chicago. I land at Chicago O'Hare Airport. I am with some regularity met by 10, 12, 15 uniformed police officers who come, they shake my hand, they give me patches. I've got in my office patches of the Chicago PD that are displayed in my office because those cops are so under assault.
Can we see the patches? I mean, if he's got them displayed in his office, he can post a picture of the patches. I'm very curious about that. But anyway, so it's Ted Cruz. It's kind of a big deal, Cenk.
Oh, totally. So first off, I like how he starts with, I go up to the cops and thank them. And then like a second later, changes it to, and they give me patches and thank me. Wait, which one is it? Are they thanking you or you're thanking them? Coming up to you? He says, I go up to the cops. And then he says, but at the same time, 10 or 12 of them are walking down the hall trying to find me. Come on, guys, come on. So look, our upside is for all progressives, not just TYT. We call out the BS of Democrats. We're not buying the BS of the Democrats, and we call them out all the time. Republicans, man, do better, do better. I mean, next thing you know, Ted Cruz is like, look, whenever I land in Cancun, all 10, 12, 15 bellhops come up to me and say, hey, what can I do with your bags while the people in Texas are freezing? Just let me know, I'm here for you. Now that story I would believe.
Oh man, now the other part of this Ted Cruz story has to do with the fact that he's up for re-election. And homeboy is a little worried. He's trying to seem more appealing, so he's kind of rebranding himself as, someone who's more open to collaboration with the other side, more open to bipartisanship and unity, because when you think of Ted Cruz, you definitely think of unity, right? So let's give you the details on that. He told NBC News in an interview that he wants to focus more on bipartisan policies. Cruz is unfortunately the top ranking Republican on the Transportation, Science, and Commerce Committee, which seems pretty outrageous given his comments to anything having to do with science. But he spoke to NBC News about several bipartisan policies that he supported in the committee, including legislation that would force home appliance companies to tell consumers if their products have recording devices installed, which sounds pretty good. That's a good thing. A bill that would fight a potential ban on new or currently installed gas stoves, which there hasn't been any proposed bans on gas stoves. Let me be clear about that. And a team up with Raphael Warnock that would make new interstates in their state, which is also good. And let me be clear, I have no problem with working with Republicans across the aisle on policies that materially improve Americans' lives. There's nothing wrong with that. I do have a problem with someone like Ted Cruz, who was elected as a Tea Party Republican, branding himself as this guy who's like really willing to work across the aisle, and he's not extreme in any way. Ted Cruz looks out for Ted Cruz. That's it. And in his mind, this is what he needs to do in order to get reelected.
Okay, I get a couple things out of that. Number one, he's scared. Okay,
yeah, he is.
So look at that. That is a deeply conservative senator from Texas who's worried about losing. Now, Ted Cruz is gonna pretend to be moderate, to be bipartisan. Wow, that's amazing. And as usual, disgrace NBC News, helping him with his marketing. I mean, they should have, the correct headline is, Senator pretends to be something he's not. He has no record of being moderate, none. He's bragged about not being moderate at all, ever in his life.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
he aided and abetted Donald Trump in his election lies. I mean, come on, really? So I agree with you on that in how NBC News reported this story. I am happy though that they included the next two portions of their article. So asked about Cruz's bipartisan work on the refrigerator and appliance privacy bill, Senator Brian Schatz, a Democrat from Hawaii, literally rolled his eyes. And he said this, I just haven't seen any evidence that Ted has changed. There's not a single one of us that doesn't have one or two bipartisan bills. The question is, how do you behave on a daily basis? And I just haven't seen a big change. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'd be happy to be proven wrong, but so far it seems like Ted is Ted.
Okay, look, man. I got to do a couple things here. One, break down those bipartisan bills. They're hilarious. Joe, we're gonna stop banning gas stoves. No one's banning gas stoves. It's a massively right-wing issue. How is that bipartisan?
That's true.
How is that bipartisan? That's like one of the most right-wing things there is. Number two, we're gonna stop our fridges from spying in on us. Also, our microwaves. That's a controversial bipartisan bill. Like Anna,
yeah,
I don't know.
That's a good point. That's a good point. It is not controversial. Democrats and Republicans are in favor of it. So you're right. It's not like he worked with Democrats on like a controversial bill because he just morally felt it was important to pass that legislation, even if his own constituents might be uncomfortable with it. Like that's actual bipartisanship, right? Doing what's right for the American people, knowing that the more extreme elements of your party aren't gonna love it. He hasn't done any of that.
No, these are joke of a bill. I mean, to make sure fridges aren't spying on us.
No, but Cenk,
what part of it is controversial? Who says no? Our fridges should spy on us. Okay, like yeah. So, and then we try. Oh, but Democrats and Republicans both agreed to build a road. Wow. Okay, and that's his only 3 examples out of his entire career. Okay, that's absurd. All right, and I gotta go to our members here because they're hilarious. I'm gonna go to Super Chat first. Ian Palak says, my kid goes and says hi to the police and they give him a sticker. Someone needs to explain to Ted what those are, okay? So Ian, if you're a member, I'm gonna give you a $100 Blue Apron gift card because that was hilarious, okay? So rewards at tyt.com if you're a member, okay? And Ted Cruz writes in, Ted Cruz is now also, Chris Birch writes in, Ted Cruz is also now claiming to be bipartisan. I'd argue he is. Everyone in the Senate hates him equally. Okay, that's a good one, Chris. Michael Gonzalez, a YouTube member, says patches. Is that like Herschel Walker's police badge?
It sounds like it.
These guys are, look, you guys are hilarious. Ted Cruz is hilarious. Herschel Walker's, I got a patch, I got a badge, right? These are unbelievable. Anyway, Michael, good, funny comment. You are a member. Rewards at tyt.com. You get a $100 Blue Apron gift card. I'm gonna do the last ones from Twitch. Green New Dealer Dragon says, when Trump came up to me, he was crying, telling me how ugly my wife was and how much he appreciated my dad killing JFK. Tears streaming down his face. Okay. All right, Green New Dealer Dragon on Twitch. If you're a member, $100 Blue Apron gift card. Get it at rewards at tyt.com where they're gonna verify that you're a member, okay? So you guys are right. These politicians are hilarious liars.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.